Oh, then somebody pointed out to me that they thought that Miranda was the one that cheated on him, but I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not up on my CMT monthly got lost in the mail.
Wait. I'm so disinterested actually in the story that I don't actually really know I know what you're referring to, but I don't know anything about what you just said.
Well, see here, Blake Shelton was with Miranda, and then they wasn't together. And then
it says she had split from Gavin Rossdale, and he parted ways with Miranda Lambert.
That's right.
They met when they were on The Voice.
That's right. Hashtag Team Miranda. Woo! Although this is for a lot of people who are going to be the Pence rally might be going on right now as we speak, right?
It is so not being covered. Okay.
It's so wrong for the mainstream media to ignore.
Let me just make sure.
You know what they should put it on? They should put it on one of those sub channels.
No,
they should put it on one of the sub channels locally, like that Dabble channel or whatever on the channel 12 has, or the Home Improvement channel or whatever it is.
On cable they're up at like at 1250, 1255. That's where they're.
God Almighty!
I mean, you really have to know they're there. That's like where MeTV is, you know.
All right, it's showing up on Brad and Britt. I'm sharing it right now to my shit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me.
So it's not being covered anywhere? You can't see it anywhere?
No, because right now Biden is talking, and it's getting covered all across the board.
Biden, Mike Pence. Biden, Mike Pence. Who are we going to go with on that one? All right, I just posted on my timeline.
There we go.
I'm ready when you are.
Well, I have to do my hair first.
That's going to take an extraordinarily long period of time.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Hold on. You know, whenever I have problems with the computer and I call up and they ask what operating system I have on this, they say, well, Apple doesn't service that one anymore.
Is that what they say? We don't support that one?
Right. It's so far
Spend the
back.
$89 and download this shit and we might talk to you.
Yeah. They don't even make the offer. They don't care.
Can I do the racist Indian accent? But no, I don't think I want to do that anymore. Yeah. I think I'm beyond that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're all ready to go.
I'm ready.
It's the Brad and Britt cast. It's our second one this week for those of you who are counting. And I don't know whether you were paying attention on Tuesday around the noon hour, but former President Obama was in Orlando today. And when you see him up there, you are reminded of just how good he was as a campaigner. And just the fact that Joe Biden has Barack Obama, normally you wouldn't say, well, surrogates don't mean anything. They don't matter. It doesn't matter. It's only the candidate. But in this particular case, because Joe Biden is not, how shall we say, the most spectacular retail politician anymore.
Right. Yes.
It's okay to acknowledge that. Nobody's fighting.
But
the fact that Obama is out there just beating the crap.
He's destroying him.
But he's so good at it, and he's such a surgeon.
Wow.
And his line today that ripped Trump, and there were so many of them, that said that the Trump is obviously melting down over the coronavirus. In fact, he's out there saying, Corona, 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 Corona. That's all they're talking about. And then Obama says he's even jealous of the media coverage Corona is getting. It's getting better ratings than he is.
I mean, it just goes to show you what we've been saying for all these years, that Barack Obama is so smart, because if he had been firing off all these shots at Donald Trump over the past 3.5, 4 years, this wouldn't mean anything. It wouldn't carry any weight. But he kept his powder dry, as they say. He's doing this stuff. And the jealousy from Donald Trump at that one where he's talking about, I just don't know if he's that good looking or that articulate. The jealousy of Donald Trump toward Barack Obama is just, it's off the charts. It's unbelievable, right?
Well, first of all, if you look at your Twitter feed from Trump, he's already melted down over the fact that Obama's speech in the noon hour got all three cable networks to cover it live all the way through. They went all the way through, all three of them, including Fox. And of course, that means that Donald Trump is now mad at Fox because they're not supposed to carry Barack Obama. And if there's one thing that even, I hate to use this phrase, but even Fox learned from 2016, that they can give themselves the tiniest veneer of respectability and the ability to say, yeah, well, but we carried this too. Because they run everything that Trump says.
Of course they do.
But in 2016, there was absolutely no coverage of Hillary Clinton for the most part. It was a blackout. And they're just as biased. They're worse now than they were in terms of being on Trump's side wherever they can. For instance, after Obama spoke today, they had a dour group of 4 people talking about the speech, including Mr. Excitement, Bill Bennett, who is
he is the best, isn't he?
Yes, to paraphrase what the right wingers say about Joe Biden, he's about one step out of the grave. Okay, there's not a lot working anymore for Bill Bennett.
What's your other line? So he died and somebody forgot to tell him.
They didn't tell.
Is that your other?
But their take on the fact that Barack Obama is in Florida. Hold on to the two.
I'm gonna grab my chair real quick. Hang on.
They're saying that Obama is in Florida because Joe Biden is desperate.
Obviously.
Okay, so
clearly,
keep in mind that clearly Florida was and is supposed to be a Trump state, right? He won it in 2016.
Right.
He's defending it. And clearly, anybody who isn't completely down the toilet and in the tank with Fox and with Trumpism realizes that the polling is at best even for Trump. He's even behind in several polls in Florida, and sending in Obama is like, kicking an extra field goal when you're ahead by 7 points and there's only 30 seconds to go. And if you kick that field goal, then like they say, it's a 2-score game and you're not going to lose.
Is that what they call that? A 2-score game?
That's what they call that. That's what I've heard.
You invented it?
Do that. Yeah.
I would say, I'm going to say this as a guy who voted for Joe Biden. I hope to God he is desperate. I'm desperate for him to win this election. I want him to pull out every tool he possibly can. Right. And if that's like the biggest slur you're going to run against Joe Biden is desperation, yes, I am desperate to have Donald Trump out of the White House come January of 2021. So I hope that every measure will be taken to make Joe Biden our next president.
Very well said. The definition of desperation is today Trump going out to Nebraska to campaign in the one congressional district that he has a shot at, and that's the Omaha area. Remember when Peyton Manning used to say, Obama. Yeah, right. To go out there to try to secure the one electoral vote that he can nail down, because they don't do it with the whole state giving their votes. They split it up.
What is it?
Maine, hang on, but Maine, to be wasting your time today on one electoral vote. And I know next week he's going to win the whole thing by one electoral vote, and we're all going to be saying he's a genius. He's the smartest guy
ever. He understood it.
He got it, and nobody else did. Biden doesn't even know where Nebraska is. I know that. But he's losing the three big upper Midwest states that made the difference the last time, with the aid of Jill Stein and Gary Johnson.
That's right.
And the fact that Hillary Clinton did not visit those states in the last month. That's not happening this time. And there is a difference. And it looks like of the three, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, Michigan is gone, girl.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. I can't for the life of me imagine what might have happened in the last few weeks. You'd almost think that the governor of Michigan was threatened with kidnapping and beheading.
Yeah, something like that, which is crazy.
Something crazy like that. And that even people who might have been a little bit predisposed to vote for Donald Trump, when he attacked her over that might have not helped him in Michigan. I can't be sure of that, but that's what I think.
It's possible.
That's how he managed to blow Michigan. That's how he managed to blow it.
I think there are a lot of people in Michigan who also remember that Joe Biden helped save the automobile industry in America. I mean, I think there's also some people who did that as well. So yeah, I think there's a lot of factors. When you said that thing about calling it Obama, Nebraska, that reminded me of a story that I was relating to somebody the other day. Do you remember? I don't know if you're going to remember this at all. In 2008, when Barack Obama was running for the White House for the first time, stupid Bob Grant was on WABC radio, right? Do you remember this? And he was
by the way, Bob is dead now, so I want you to be delicate.
Bob's no longer with us, although a broadcasting Hall of Famer, one of the great talk show hosts of all time, but also a huge asshole. Am I being hyperbolic in any way?
Well, I wouldn't even include he's in the broadcasting Hall of Fame.
I went too far. Okay.
You did go too far.
Okay, well, that's fine.
He may be in the right-wing asshole broadcasters Hall of Fame.
Fair enough. Not fighting that.
But I was in Chicago, and they have a little portion of it in the Chicago Broadcast Museum, and I do not believe he is in that part of it, but I might be wrong. But okay.
So during 2008, Barack Obama is campaigning in Ohio. And he has the Ohio flag behind him, which, as you are well aware, has an O, like a bullseye on the flag, correct? That's what the flag looks like for people who are not familiar with the state of Ohio flag. Bob Grant was not familiar with the Ohio flag and goes, what is that, an Obama flag? He's got an Obama flag. They made up their own flag for Obama, and that's what he's got behind him. And this is something that he went on the air with very sternly, and nobody was immediately there to go, hey, old man, quit being so codgery and stupid on the air. And he insisted that Barack Obama had his own flag made up after.
Yeah.
Back in 2008.
Yeah.
One of many stupid things that happened starting in talk radio in 2008.
Right. If we can just wind back about, 15 hours or so to that ridiculous, absurd Supreme Court show.
Jesus God. Yeah.
Which, and I didn't realize it till most of the way through, that what was on television last night presented at the White House in just as obnoxious and ostentatious a way as the month before super spreader event,
right?
Where so many people picked it up. Last night was to shove it down everybody's throat and again put on a pageant and a regal presentation of a ruling autocrat manipulating the judiciary in his favor, like all good dictator autocrats do, with pomp and circumstance. And it wasn't until later in the show or afterwards that somebody mentioned that was not the swearing in. That was a show. That was, sometimes people, have the family and then they have a bigger wedding later on, that kind of. Well, it's kind of the opposite with this. In the case of Trump, it's all about the show. It's all about the pageantry. And that was not the official swearing in. The official swearing in is done by the Chief Justice.
Yeah.
Is done by the Chief Justice, and it's done in a smaller setting.
Usually.
Inside the White House.
But he'll probably fuck that up too, Brad. He'll probably end up
every other time it's been done. Because the first thing I noticed last night was, well, why is Clarence Thomas doing this? And I thought about it, and I thought, you know what this was? This was a fuck you, okay? Yeah. Because Clarence Thomas replaced Thurgood Marshall.
That's correct.
Black liberal icon Thurgood Marshall to right wing, considered maybe the worst Supreme Court justice of all time, not really qualified, Clarence Thomas.
Correct.
Okay, conservative. So the symbolism is there. So why not have him preside, at least for the cameras, over, again, the shift from major important liberal icon in judicial history, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, to a complete right wing, shouldn't be on the court, technically qualified, but not really in terms of her judicial history as it relates to who she's replacing. But Trump wasn't going to do that, and this was their goal. We understand that. Amy Coney Barrett.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why he picked Clarence Thomas to do that.
Well, and I think it's also
I can't prove it. Yeah.
Isn't it another pander to the black folks? Isn't that also what it is?
No,
as well?
because
look, black people. I love your guy, and I've got him, and I'm here, and this is a position of honor, particularly after his son-in-law told black people they need to shape up, and he can't help them unless they want to help themselves.
No,
when Jared went on television,
no, you're dead wrong. No, Clarence Thomas is about as much loved by quote black people.
I know, but in Donald Trump world. That's a black success story. In Donald Trump world, look, Negroes, look what I've done for you. I put one of your own in a prominent position here at the White House to do this very, as you say, symbolic, unimportant, superfluous thing. And also, I think that's what they were trying to do. But maybe it was just because the whole thing was a giant fuck you. The entire day was a giant fuck you. Right. McConnell might as well have said fuck you on the Senate floor.
Yeah.
The whole thing was an in-your-face, and at first they were trying to justify when this whole process started about her and about what they did to Merrick Garland. But after a while, they were like, fuck it, we're just doing it because we can. And if you guys don't like it, suck it. I don't give a shit. That's essentially what they were saying. And then toward the end, it was absolutely in your face. We got another judge. We got a conservative majority on the Supreme Court, and fuck anybody who doesn't like it. That was the message of yesterday.
After it was over, in a rare appearance on the Sean Hannity show, Lindsey Graham was the first guest. And I took a screen grab of it and put it up on my Facebook page. And it's Hannity in the one box, and in the other box, it's Lindsey Graham with this shit-eating grin for about 10 seconds, just grinning like he had won the lottery of his lifetime. And that was that. Anyway, man, it's a real terrible day for America. It's just a terrible day for America. It's a great moment right now to have a dog barking in the background.
Well, he's pissed off too because they told him to go fuck himself.
Right.
They were telling everybody. No, yeah, I wanted to ask you this. This is a very serious question, and I want you to really ponder this. When you talk about going, another rare appearance and all this other stuff. Do you think if Donald John Trump loses the election a week from today, and it's a decisive, I don't know what the number would be, but anywhere from 360 to 400, it's a decisive defeat, and he's going to try to peddle. We know the voter fraud, and they shipped in voters from Mars, and they beamed people in from Jupiter. All of that shit's going to happen. Do you think when he is finally shown to be the electoral loser who never won the popular vote ever, was a disgraceful president, had a terrible approval rating, do you think Fox will continue to take his calls? Do you think he will still be allowed to come in on Fox and Friends on a call-in basically anytime he wants to? Do you think that Sean Hannity will have him on for 20-minute uninterrupted bullshit sessions at 9:00? I mean, do you think that's going to happen, or do you think they go with the idea that we don't know who Donald Trump is, we never heard of him, and they try to plow forward?
I think it might be somewhere in the middle.
Interesting.
I think initially they'll stick with him, but they will wean themselves off of them because at a certain point, they have to go where the money is, and Donald Trump is not the future. He will quickly become the past. He has to be, because, the entire Republican Party will have to figure out a way to expunge the last 4 years, which they can't.
Exactly. Thank you.
We're not going to let them. Although you can just hear this is not the time for recriminations. This is a time to reach a hand out to these people. We have to bring the country, but you know what? You know whose job that is? That's Joe Biden's job. But the rest of us, we get to exact our pound of flesh against these people, and deservedly so. And none of them deserve to be able to put on a resume that they worked for Donald Trump and they're able to get honest work anymore. They shouldn't be. They should be shunned, and they will be. They'll have to close their ranks and I guess employ each other if there's anybody left to do that. But if what happens, and this election is far from over. It really, really is.
It truly is. Even though we've had 60 million people vote early and all that other stuff. Yeah, we got a long way to go.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's almost like we shouldn't even talk about this.
Yeah.
We really should not talk about
but we have to.
No, we don't have to. We need to talk about what's happening now to make sure the win occurs. It's like, how many sporting events have they had the champagne on ice in the locker room?
86 New York Mets, Game 6, right there. That's your analogy right there.
Right.
The Boston Red Sox and the ball rolling through Bill Buckner's legs and all of that shit. They had the champagne in the locker room. They taped up the plastic over the lockers so that the champagne would not soak the guy's clothes, and the ball rolled through Bill Buckner's legs, and you know the rest of the story. Yeah, right, that's exactly right.
Because I'm afraid right now that there could be a double reverse. We're not confident. We're not going to say we're confident, but we're confident. So we're going to pretend we're not going to act like we're confident, but we're going to exhibit the same fucking stupid behavior that I don't need to really go out and vote, because look at the polls. I'm very afraid that the same thing is going to happen. And that's what Trump is counting on. That's what he's going for. He's now probably going for the fact, they think that because there's a lot of early voting, it's over. And you just can't think that way. You cannot allow it to happen. It just doesn't mean anything.
Particularly since in the last week, the dirty tricks are going to be ramped up to an unbelievable level.
Right.
I mean, the dirty tricks, and then the election day itself is going to be so incredibly unbelievable.
And I'm just going to give you an unsubstantiated piece of nugget that came to me. I haven't looked it up since then because I know it's bullshit. But this morning, while passing by Fox, the preview was tonight at 8:00, that Fuckovich guy.
Oh, I did see that.
The Hunter Biden guy is going to come with new evidence, new tapes, new this. Okay. Now, and by the way, they tagged it with, these are things that Joe Biden is going to have to answer for. Now, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. We don't know what it is, but
it's nothing.
They orchestrate it, and you know what? I don't know. I don't know that it won't work. Can you tell me whatever you think? We know it's bullshit, but
I can't say that.
You can't say it.
You cannot
say it. We cannot. Right. We can't do it.
I mean, but we also can't say that the exact same things that happened in 2016 are going to happen this year.
Right. Exactly. They won't until they do. New Orleans. Remember, New Orleans can't possibly get hit with 4 hurricanes coming through the Gulf, hitting the same area 4 times, and it can't happen. But it's happening.
No, I'm with you, and I don't want anybody to get overconfident in any way. And like I said, the dirty tricks and the voter intimidation and the leaflets and the flyers that are going to go into the black neighborhoods about if you're behind on your light bill, you can't vote, or you need to vote. There's too many people voting on Tuesday, you need to vote on Wednesday, or if you have any warrants outstanding against you, then you need to vote. All of that shit is going to happen big time over the course of the next week. So yeah, I do agree, but we also have to understand that this is not 2016. And I think when we look back at it, the big bad wolf and the boogeyman don't exist. I think this guy is going to go down like a clown. I certainly hope so. But as you say, anything could happen. But the most important thing is that you must make the Republican Party own this guy for what they've done in supporting him over the past 4 years. And they will never be able to get away from him. I just don't believe there's any way possible that they're going to be, because he's not going to shut up. And he's always going to have his Twitter feed, and his stupid spawn are going to be out there doing their thing and still trying to run for office and all this other shit. They'll never be able to get away from this guy.
No, you're right. You're right. And I guess the tracks are already being laid for the Trump media empire.
God bless him.
Right afterwards. I mean, the plans are already there, but what has to be done right now is the noses have to be put to the grindstones.
Exactly.
And we have to go for what. There have been a couple of examples over the years where a football team runs up the score, and then after the game, it's not about the fact that the team won. It's the horrible way they ran up the score. That's the worst thing that's, I think Nick Saban has been accused of that before.
Sure. Nick Saban was very bad at that. Yeah.
Right. And
Bill Belichick, I believe, has also been accused of that on many occasions.
There you go. And I mean, this is a case where when you look at the travel schedules and you see that Joe Biden is in Georgia on Tuesday, Joe Biden is not in Georgia because he's got a stupid campaign and he needs to be spending all his time in the 3 Hillary states in the upper Midwest. Exactly. He's not there because of that. He's there because the polls have closed and turned Georgia into a swing state. And because there are two Senate seats
that's right
up for grabs there. One of them will be decided on election day and right afterwards. And then the other one is probably going to go into a runoff because it's one of those jungle fucked up things where they had 20 people running and
it's a battle royal.
There's like 4 left. And the winner is right now in the polls easily is that Reverend who is the pastor at Martin Luther King's Ebenezer Baptist Church. He looks like a great candidate. And he's going to win, but he'll have to face off against a Republican opponent in a runoff. But, hey, there you go. And then the other race is John Ossoff against David Perdue.
Right.
Kamala Impala.
So funny.
That's really cost him.
Oh,
have you seen what's happened?
Has it really? Good.
Absolutely. That went from a fairly easy Republican win to, I believe it's dead even now.
Good. Keep running that trap, jerk.
Yeah.
Keep running that.
Yeah. He's a focused candidate. He's Beto O'Rourke without the head jerks. Okay.
Well,
he's Beto O'Rourke with better posture.
I do think if Donald Trump loses Georgia, I think it's over. I mean, I just don't see. I don't see a path to victory if he loses Georgia. Forget it. And
if he loses Georgia, he will have already lost North Carolina and Florida. So
Florida's game over anyway. There's no path to victory without Florida. And Florida and Georgia together, you are looking at what they call a landslide by any other name. Yeah. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do, and you can try to you can gild the lily any way that you want to.
Right, but there are it's a long way to Tipperary, as somebody once said.
I'm with you on that.
And I think, and we've talked about this for 4 years, that the law of diminishing returns sets in on everything. It's just a question of when. And we thought that the law of diminishing returns on the rallies set in a long time ago.
It did.
And the rallies are not what they were in 2016. They were a novelty. They got covered as curiosity pieces. Right. Now,
they're just super spreader events. That's all they are. He's trying to kill off his supporters before Election Day right now.
Right. So every time, and I think this is true, every time he does a rally, it's really a commercial for Joe Biden. Because America is choosing, and the women who are the majority of the voters in this country are watching, and they have children, and they have to explain to their children, and the children can be young as 7, 8, or 9, and they will ask the correct questions about why do I have to wear a mask when I'm back in school, but the president doesn't have to.
This asshole doesn't, yeah.
Right. And once a kid has asked you, Mom, that question, well, guess what? You may have taken a flyer on Donald Trump in 2016 because you hated that Hillary. Well, no more.
Yeah.
Hillary's not on the ballot, and Donald Trump is, and he has a long, long record, as they like to say, about the prisoners. And that's where I think we can have a level of confidence here that several of the swingy states are going to swing back to blue. And no one ever really does mention the third party and the fourth party issues in 2016 that are not there this time. There is no diversion. You're not going to be with somebody this time who says, well, I couldn't decide, but they both suck, and I voted for the Libertarian. Nobody even knows who the Libertarian is. The Libertarians were not on stage at the debates. We didn't play that game this year. We didn't fall for that shit.
Nope.
So just taking away those numbers is a weight onto Donald Trump in each of those states that he won. I don't see how he's going to overcome that.
You'll remember this phrase from the late 90s. I think this was another Limbaugh thing, but it was also echoed on talk radio, Clinton fatigue. Remember that 2-word phrase? Everyone was talking about Clinton fatigue and how people were tired of the Clintons. Trump fatigue is well beyond anything that they ever imagined that Clinton fatigue was. So many people are just tired of seeing him and hearing about the tweets and hearing about how awful he is and what other crazy conspiracy stupidity that he's done recently, or what dumbass thing he said at one of the debates. There are a lot of people that are just completely done with this guy.
Yeah, well, Clinton fatigue is what helped contribute to Hillary's loss.
Exactly.
Bill Clinton was in effect, the history books will say Bill Clinton was a popular 2-term president.
That is without question.
And so there wasn't any, and he was succeeded not by Al Gore and I don't think Al Gore lost because there was Bill Clinton fatigue.
No, the problem with Al Gore's campaign is they did not embrace the Clinton record enough. And I think there are a lot of political scientists who would tell you that.
Right. The Clinton fatigue came later on, but the Trump fatigue for most of us had set in about 2 hours after he came down the escalator, because for most of us, we had enough Donald Trump in our life, whether we watched The Apprentice or not, the previous 30 years, 40 years.
Do you remember people?
He was an omnipresent tabloid piece of shit for thinking people. For anyone else.
By like 1993, we were already sick and tired of this piece of crap.
Absolutely.
But the other thing about all of that is, as far as Trump goes, you remember there were some Trump supporters who were like, well, aren't you even going to try to give him a chance? Aren't you going to give him? And then, if you were an objective person, I'll give him a chance. And then 4 seconds after the inauguration, they're lying about how big the crowd was. And you're like, well, okay, that was my chance. I gave him a shot. And now they're going to, with a straight face, tell me that this is the largest crowd ever to see an inauguration, when I can see with these eyes that God gave me that they're lying.
Right. With the frame of history now, because it's 4 years.
Yes.
It is really true that moment was never made up for. It set the tone. It was exactly everything that came after that in different forms. And by the way, I haven't looked, but I understand. And again, this is like the old Jerry Lewis telethons, where just at the very end, they would get past $60 million, right?
Exactly,
they'd be at 52,
right on the edge,
at 5 minutes before 6 o'clock.
What do you got for me, Ed? What do you got?
And then they'd find all this money, and apparently Donald Trump is going to surpass 25,000 lies. 25,000 lies.
Was there ever a doubt? For a lot of us, we felt like he was going to make it no matter what. But he's really had to ramp it up recently. I understand, even by his standards.
He's on a tear.
By his own standards, he's kicking ass and taking names when it comes to lying, so he can make it to that magical 25,000 mark, which has never been even close by any president, even in 2 terms. There are some that haven't told 25,000.
25,000 eclipses the previous 44 presidents put together.
That's great.
Okay.
Even FDR with 4 terms couldn't get to 20. Couldn't even get to half of 25,000. That is so fantastic. The news of this day: a federal judge ruling that the president can be personally sued for defamation in connection with his denial while in office of a decades-old rape allegation. The judge, Lewis Kaplan of Federal District Court in Manhattan,
We know what he is.
Oh,
we know about him.
He treats me terribly. Rejected the Justice Department's attempt to step into the case and defend the president. This ruling means that for the moment, a lawsuit by writer E. Jean Carroll can move forward against Mr. Trump in his capacity as a private citizen, Brad. The Justice Department can't step in and help the president out in this case.
Well, the Justice Department should have never in the first place attempted to step in. So this is not even close to a radical ruling. This is just an attempt to restore some level of sanity to the insanity and the corruption of the justice system in this country by an out of control, rogue, autocratic, horrible president for whom the founding fathers never dreamed we would have to write explicit protections from, because they thought that Americans would elect people who exhibited some form of good faith towards the citizenry and some respect towards the country in general. Okay, so 1 out of 45, we blew it. But this thank goodness that this ruling occurred. Now, is this one of these? It doesn't matter. The Supreme Court's going to reverse this kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know, because nothing ever stands, right? Nothing is ever final with Trump.
No.
So
there's no such thing as a settled issue with this asshole. He always gets another bite at the apple.
That's right. That's
or
right.
At least he attempts to.
But you know what? You can certainly add this to that pile over there of things that are rambling around in the back of that head of his over why he is so desperate, why he knows that the clock is ticking louder and louder every day on the toll, which is about to the bell, which is about to toll for the minute he loses the election.
The Mediaite is pointing toward this new poll from NBC News that moved Texas from a lean Republican to a toss-up state, Brad, in the presidential election. And in addition to that, Arizona joined them, moving even further to the left, if you will. Lean Democrat is what NBC News' latest polling calls Arizona. If somehow Joe Biden sweeps Georgia, Arizona, and Texas.
Well, now you're pushing 400 electoral.
You're looking at 1984 and Walter Mondale. Is this the Walter Mondale, Ronald Reagan generational election?
But we should not.
I know.
You know what?
I can't help it.
I know, but let other people dream of that, and let's just make sure he does win those 3 states in the upper Midwest, and that he can make it happen in North Carolina and Florida on election night, because the polls close in North Carolina at 7:30, and all the mail-in votes and the early votes will have been counted by then. They are counting them right now. So there will be an early result from North Carolina. There will be an early result from Florida, minus the Panhandle. And if they can run up the score in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties, it's very often tough to overcome that, because those are the 3 most populous counties in Florida. And of course, they'll be saying, "Well, nothing's wrong. We have to wait for the." We know that. We understand that, but it's just more important to worry about those 5 states. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin,
Ohio,
North Carolina, Florida. Yeah. Those 5, and 3 out of 5 of those, and it's over for him.
Have you given up on your home state of Ohio, Brad?
I haven't, but since it's not being discussed very much, I'm thinking that the Biden campaign has given up on it. Sadly, and that
one always makes me very scared, because of the great cliche, "As goes Ohio, so goes the nation."
No, that's not how it goes. It goes, no Republican can ever win without Ohio. It does not mean that if a Republican wins Ohio but loses Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Florida and North Carolina, that they're going to win. Ohio, I have not lived there since 1980. All right. So
40 years.
I'm 40 years out of there. So I do not have to defend
No, you don't. No one's
are.
asking you, but it's very sad that the people of Michigan are doing the right thing and the people of Ohio are not. I mean, that's got to be heartbreaking for you.
Maybe if the Ohio governor had been threatened within an inch of his life, that might have.
If some right-wing extremist group could just, there was a story that they did have over the weekend that I didn't want. That again, this is one of those that people aren't talking about very much, and I hate to do that, but the FBI did an investigation, and after the George Floyd protests in Minneapolis, there was a police precinct that was attacked, and the FBI did determine that it was a right-wing extremist group that did attack that precinct. Very interesting. So I did not want that story to go unnoticed. If you'll watch,
false flag. It was Antifa posing as a right-winger. Right? Isn't that usually the first response when something like that comes out?
And well, this is where I would hope that Donald Trump's had so much bullshit that he's had to attend to, like trying to, drum up, trying to beat down celebrities and such. He's not really been able to call the FBI against him in this particular case, but I would assume that he would attack the FBI for their conclusion of this if he possibly could. I am seeing a lot of people who were very upset by the Amy Coney Barrett swearing in and all of the things that happened yesterday. Do you think that's going to motivate, in particular, some of those suburban women that we talked about to go out? I would hope that most of them would have already been motivated to go out and vote, but do you think that's going to further motivate a few shaking off the trees and the bushes there?
Well, let's go back a month ago when this first happened, when Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, and within 1 millisecond, Mitch McConnell was out there and Trump was out there, and they had their nominee ready to go. And the conventional wisdom was, oh boy, this is really going to help Trump. This is going to secure that base. They're going to love this, blah, blah. A third justice and Antonin Scalia in a dress. Oh my God. This is going to show what a great president was, and this is going to help. And my first thought, we talked about this. I said, I don't think so at all. I think this is the worst thing ever. And I think they're stupid to get her in place before the election, unless you think that they have this brilliant idea that she'll be the swing vote. She'll be the deciding vote to tilt some kind of a election interference case that makes it to the Supreme Court, that they think it's worth doing that. And I think Mitch McConnell, who's about as trustworthy as the toilet paper that I use every day, okay, is looking out for himself and whatever legacy he thinks he's going to have, which is just tilting the court, for 30 or 40 years. That's all he cares about. And he doesn't care about the election of Donald Trump. He just cares about keeping the Senate, which I don't think this helps keep the Senate either. But I think this is more of a motivator, and thought it then, for Democrats who are awakened now about the court and the Supreme Court in a way that they have not been awakened or motivated by, and that Republicans, certainly soft Republicans who have held their nose for Trump and said it's about the judges, well, mission accomplished. Yeah. You don't have to vote for Donald Trump anymore to get the Supreme Court. You already have it. You don't need to sacrifice the entire country and the entire rule of law, the entire sense of decency.
But they will, because they can.
Well, but wait, no, but I'm telling you, this is a permission and off-ramp for soft Trump voters to go over to Joe Biden. And the women that you're talking about in the suburbs, even people who think, well, I have to vote for Trump because he's the anti-abortion guy. Right. In their heart, they know he's full of shit. Okay. In their heart, they know he doesn't mean it. But, okay, he got another anti-abortion, anti-Roe versus Wade judge on there, and that's all done. And he got 200 federal judges at the, at the next couple levels on there, which, by the way, since there's nothing too petty for Donald Trump to lie about, he can't even say it's 200. He has to say 300. He has to, every number that ever comes out of Donald Trump's mouth is a lie. He just cannot tell the truth, even about things that on their own would be okay if he would just tell the truth.
I do want to make this point before we get out of here, because you were talking about the inspiration, and this might be where some of the suburban women get on an off-ramp to go Joe Biden. It cannot be overstated how the hearings of Brett Kavanaugh have been such a motivator for a lot of women to jump off the Trump train. Those hearings with Brett Kavanaugh back in 2018 were a big part of the reason that Nancy Pelosi is Speaker of the House right now. It's a big reason that the Democrats took back control of the House. And that was really, I don't know if you want to say that was the start of a lot, because it had already kind of started with the women who were protesting and wearing the pussy hats back in 2017 and stuff like that. Again, those people were roundly mocked, but it looks like the pussy hat wearers are going to get the last word in this. And Brad, the Brett Kavanaugh hearings were a major turning point for a lot of people, I think.
And if you've ever heard Trump talk about Brett Kavanaugh, with Trump and his band of merry, non-college educated white men, this was the worst, most oppressive moment in American history. A great man, a wonderful human being. No one has ever been mistreated more than Brett Kavanaugh. So match up what I just said, the Trump says, with
exactly
what you just said. The polls are showing that you're completely right and Trump is completely wrong. Men are not going to be turning out next week in greater numbers because they remember what happened to Brett Kavanaugh, and they don't want it to happen to their son or to them or their cousin. I mean,
when I saw Brett Kavanaugh, I did not identify with him because I've managed not to attack women against their will over the years, Brad. I didn't think that could be me sitting in that seat. That's not what I thought. Because I've been able not to get drunk and go and do something that a woman didn't want to have done to her at a party when I was in high school, and then lie about it and then cry about how much I love beer. That was I didn't relate to him on any of that, Brad.
What about that calendar? That was a good calendar.
What about that
calendar?
We're gonna go get skis. Woohoo, skis.
Jeez. All right. Enough damage done for today. We will see you all tomorrow.
See ya.